Welcome to another episode of the Bottom of the Stream Movie Show. My name is Adam.
My name is Nick, and welcome back to Bottom of the Stream. We're a world famous podcast about Netflix movies. We dredge the Netflix stream, and we are looking for hidden gems every week.
We are indeed. I love how casual you were about that. We're a world famous podcast about Netflix movies. Yeah, we are. People all over the world listen to this show. We are indeed. And this week we have been selected a movie called Blood and Gold. Blood and Gold was released in 2023, in May of this year. It's less than 4 months old.
Oh my word!
It was and is an 18. It runs for 1 hour and 38 minutes. Currently rated at 6.5 out of 10 on IMDb, and is a Netflix original. 6.5, Nick. Thoughts? 1 whole point higher than last week's movie.
It's high. It's not 1 whole point better than last week's movie. I don't think.
No, very true. Also, again, this week, you remember last week when we did I always run through the top 3 billed members of the cast.
Sure.
This week, the top billed actress in this film is Jordis Tribal, and she plays Sonia.
But why?
I presume she's the most famous person.
Okay.
But she's the top billed. She's in Dark, you know, the
Yes.
Netflix TV show
Yes.
Dark. You'll know her from that. She's called Katharina in that. This also stars a lady called Marie Hacke, or Heck. She plays Elsa.
Yes.
And also this film stars Robert Maaser, Maaser. He plays Heinrich.
Yeah.
I
I would say those two are ostensibly the
two main characters. Yes, indeed. I feel like the German guy, the main SS guard, is quite hard done by there. I would say
both of them are. I would say the squadron, the lieutenant colonel, and also the sergeant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sonia isn't even in it until almost the end. But you will see that as we go through it. Robert Maaser, you might recognise. He's in Sense8, the Netflix original TV show. He's also in 1917 and Uncharted.
Oh, nice.
So he's quite... but you will also know him if you're a fan of Ronrad. You know what Ronrad is?
No, thank you.
Ronrad is the art of wheel gymnastics.
Right.
You know where you see these gymnasts in a big wheel?
Yeah.
And it rolls around?
Sure.
He's a multiple-time world champion at Ronrad.
I love the way you say it.
Ronrad.
Oh, good for him.
Yeah, multiple-time world champion.
Wow.
So if you're a fan of that art of the gymnastics world,
Yeah.
you will know him, I would imagine. Yeah, good fact, I thought.
Yeah, it's very good.
Yeah, I thought so. This film was written by Stephen Barth and Peter Thorworth, and was directed by Peter Thorworth.
You've said that 8 different
Right,
times.
I've only
You
said it
only
3
said his
times.
name 3 times.
You might have known this director. He has also directed another Netflix original that
Okay.
was actually released, I want to say last year or the year before. Remember Blood Red Sky?
Yes.
That he directed that.
Yeah.
So you may know him from that. It was a decent film, I thought. Nick, do you have a 1-word review of Blood and Gold?
Golden showers.
Ugh.
Because multiple times in this movie, that gold
rains.
rains down on people.
It does indeed.
And what I will say is this is one of the most aptly named movies we've ever done.
Yes, this film is about blood and gold.
And there is lots of both of those things in this movie.
And it's what the movie is about.
Yes.
And it contains them. And it is a perfectly named movie, in my opinion. Where does this movie start, Nick?
Footsteps.
Because
a man is running
he is
through the forest.
in Germany, spring 1945.
Yes, over a field into some woods.
Yes.
And he is being chased by a squadron of Nazis. The SS.
The SS are chasing
on his
him.
tail.
He's also a member of the SS.
He is, yeah.
But he's being chased by his own men.
And he sort of tumbles into a clearing, doesn't he?
Yes. This movie is set just before the end of World War II.
Yes.
So it says spring 1945
Correct.
at the beginning. So, what made me laugh is that they're shooting at him for the first 3 or 4 minutes of this movie, trying to track him down, gun him down.
Yeah.
And then when they eventually catch up to him,
Because he stumbles, doesn't
he
he?
stumbles and falls to the ground, and they've all got their guns pointed at him. And the leader man, he was like, "I want him alive."
Yeah.
But you've just been shooting at him for 4 minutes. Why did you not say that a minute ago? It was really funny. Yeah, so they capture him. They do manage to capture him. And it's revealed at this point that he has betrayed the fatherland, and
He's a deserter.
He's a deserter. However, he's a decorated and dedicated soldier, or he has been throughout the entire war. He's won medals. He's got all sorts going on, but he's decided that he is done with this bullshit, in his own words.
The Lieutenant Colonel sort of says, you're a deserter. What? How dare you betray the fatherland? And Heinrich is this private that we're following, and he says, I never believed in this war. I've done things because I have to.
The Lieutenant Colonel uses the line, "We are a people of victors," and Heinrich replies, "We are a people of murderers."
Yes.
And that does not go down very well at all.
They're going to hang him.
They are going to hang him. They put a noose around his neck.
And the sergeant, who is...
Dorfler, his name is.
He sort of says to Heinrich, he sort of whispers to him, I'm not making this as tight as I could.
Yeah.
Because I want you to suffer.
He also puts the knot at the side of his head.
Yeah.
So it doesn't break his neck as he falls. Yeah, he wants him to suffer. So they do. They stand him in the back of their truck while they're all getting ready to leave and put this noose around his neck, and then they just drive off.
They don't care enough to watch him die.
Yeah, they don't even
make
watch.
sure the job's finished.
No, they just leave him hanging from a tree.
They got God to find.
And we see him start to choke and gurgle and hang, basically, is what we're seeing. He has a vision of his family as he dies.
Yeah, his wife and kids sort of saying, come back.
Yeah.
Where are you, Daddy?
Don't say daddy.
Why not?
I don't know, it's just a funny word.
I get called it all the time.
Yeah, that's fine. Just don't say it when I'm in the room.
Okay. You can call me it if you want.
I'm going to cut that audio of you saying it and use it as my ringtone.
Okay.
But this is going to be such a weird episode because this is quite a weird film. It's quite funny.
Yeah.
We're in weird moods, the pair of us. I think this is going to be a strange one.
And
just before he dies.
Yeah, he's having these visions. He's blurring, and he is then cut down.
Yeah, somebody cuts him down
by a lady.
Yes, and she verifies that he is alive, and he is alive. So she starts dragging him back to wherever she lives.
She does.
Then there's like a montage at this point of them
slash credits.
Yeah,
the credits are rolling.
Sequence.
You've got the Germans rolling into a town.
Yeah, small town.
And our farm lady, for that is all we know her as so far, is dragging Heinrich along the ground back to the farmstead.
Yeah, so there's kind of a montage while the credits play of that happening. Word after it hits the title card at the end of the credits, and then word is getting around the town that the SS have arrived in town.
Yeah,
and everybody's quite surprised. And like, in our little village, why would the SS turn up?
So yes, we hear
the mayor, don't we?
The mayor, who is also the innkeeper.
Yeah,
and he's with his wife, and they're sort of. I think the town is preparing to welcome their. Well, they're not expecting the SS and the Nazis to turn up.
They're not, because they're convinced the war's about to end. Yeah, everybody knows the war. Germany are going to lose this war.
And when they hear the SS are rolling into town, he actually says, "Oh,
what the fuck?
Go and get the Hitler picture out the back."
Yeah, we've already took it down. We need to put it back up. Yeah. Then we meet this lady who has cut Heinrich down. Her name is Elsa. She is nursing him back to health when he wakes up.
Yeah,
and she lives on a farm with her brother.
Yes,
Paulie, I think his name is Paulie. And
he is a gentle giant type.
He is, yeah, very much so. Lovely guy.
Yeah.
He starts massaging Heinrich, and he can't stand up yet. He's
Heinrich can't. No,
Heinrich can't. He's in a bad way. It's been a bit of a strange few days for him, I think. And then we meet the mayor of this town properly as he goes to meet the lieutenant colonel.
He's had to get his whole sort of Nazi uniform back out of storage.
He has. And the lieutenant colonel says, "We are here to visit the Lowensteins' property." Yeah. It's revealed by the mayor that they no longer live in the town.
No.
The town is proudly Jew-free since 1938. Sorry. And the mayor's very proud of this fact that there's.
But he still wants to go. He says, "Take me to the house."
Take me to the house, which the mayor does. He takes them there, but it is a pile of rubble and ashes. Yes. The house was burnt down while they were trying to get these Jews to flee the town. Then the mayor's bit on the side.
Yes.
Floozy. So. She shows up. She wants him to kind of leave the town with her, run away with her, get away from it all. He can't go at the moment because the SS are in town and he can't leave.
So he kind of brushes her off.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah. Terrible timing.
Yeah,
Terrible timing.
Terrible timing. Then we go back to the farm. Elsa is talking about how much she hates the SS and the Nazis because they killed her father.
Yeah, because he didn't toe the line.
Yeah,
essentially.
Yes,
and she lives quietly because she's trying to protect Paulie. Because if the Nazis were to discover him, he'd be killed
Yeah, basically.
as a sort of less able human being. I
Yes,
guess.
I guess it's learning difficulties,
Yeah.
isn't it? That's sort of a issue. The SS take over the inn in town, which the mayor runs. They kick out all the civilians.
Yeah, that's going to be their new HQ.
It's going to be their local HQ. We don't know why they're in town yet. We still don't know. It's something to do with this house. But we find out in the next scene, because the next scene is the next day. And the Nazis and the SS, or do we call them Nazis or SS or either? Do we care?
Either.
Do we care?
The
SS
yeah.
are all over this rubbly, burned.
They're combing the rubble of this house.
And it turns out they are looking for gold.
Yeah.
They have heard a rumor, or they have heard word that there is gold hidden in this house.
Yeah.
And they are here for it. Because I think they know the war's about to be over as well.
Sure.
I think everybody's resigned to the fact.
Yeah, I
that
don't think
Germany.
Or maybe the lieutenant colonel is acting with the idea of returning the gold to the war effort.
Yeah,
but certainly I think
don't know if he was.
He
said he
the
was.
sergeant is
Yeah.
like not.
Yeah,
He's like, well,
100%
we're
not.
taking it and feathering our nest and getting out of here, basically.
We hear on the news in the inn that the French are closing in from one side of Berlin, and the Americans are coming from the other side, and it's all about to kick off in Berlin, and that'll be the end of it.
And the sergeant and the lieutenant colonel have an argument to that effect, don't they? The sergeant's sort of saying, well, look, the end could be near. We need to look after ourselves. And the lieutenant colonel is at least
straight
in front
down
of
the
his
line.
men. Yeah. No, Germany is strong, will not yield, etc., etc.
So he kind of demotes the sergeant slightly, doesn't he? He's like, right, you go on provisions duty. You can. We need food.
Find rations.
We need food. Go and find rations. Take over all the local farms. Get us animals. Get us food. We're going to be here for a while. So he said Dorfler is the sergeant's name. I don't know if I have the lieutenant colonel's name.
I don't know if we got it. I've just got lieutenant colonel all the way through.
I have as well. I'll see, as I've written him in my notes. So they do. Dorfler takes some men and goes to raid some local farms for supplies.
Say lieutenant or lieutenant?
Lieutenant.
Okay.
Lieutenant.
Both
colonel.
are fine.
One's American, isn't it?
Yeah.
Which one's American?
Lou.
Is it?
I think so.
And I say Lou.
Yeah.
Who knew? Lieutenant sounds strange. And we know who's on a farm already, so we know where this is heading. Elsa asks Heinrich to stay. She wants him to...
He wants to leave, yeah. He's
wants
like,
to
I've
leave.
got to get out of here. She says, you're in no state. You
Yeah.
at least stay for a couple of days.
Yeah.
Recover.
Stay here with us.
Plus, I could do with an extra pair of hands around the farm.
And he explains to her why he can't stay, and that is because he has had word from his home that his wife and son have been killed during the war effort.
Yep.
But his daughter survived.
His wife was pregnant,
Yes.
but the baby survived.
Oh, is that what it was?
Yeah,
Okay.
sure, that's what he said.
Okay. So
Did you dub or did you sub?
I dubbed.
Oh, okay.
I dubbed. And
I subbed.
it wasn't a bad dub, to be fair.
Okay.
It was all right. I didn't hate it. So he has this daughter. No, because he said he's only met his daughter once at one point.
I'm sure what I had on my subtitles was that his wife was pregnant when she died and their daughter survived.
Okay. I'm sure at one point he says that he's only met his daughter once.
Right, okay.
But yeah, who knows?
Well, both could be true.
Either way, he has a daughter that he needs to get back
Yeah.
to that has no parents currently.
Because the neighbours have taken her in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then we look out the window. Oh, I think Paulie comes in and warns them that there's a truck coming down the path. And it's Dorfler and his men. And obviously Heinrich can't be seen to be alive. They
Sure.
think he's dead. So he goes and hides in the attic. And the men don't approach the farm. The farm. They just literally go straight for the animals.
Shoot some chickens.
Shoot some chickens. They send a man in to fetch some chickens and he can't catch
Yeah.
them. It's a funny scene. And then Elsa comes to the door with a shotgun.
She just says, you can't take everything.
Yeah, she says, take whatever you need, but don't take everything.
Yeah, we need to survive as well.
And she just goes back inside. She's like, take, but we need to survive. And then just heads back in.
Which just rolls them up, so they all head into the house.
Yeah.
And
Paulie's got upset because the chickens are being killed.
Yeah, they instantly see Paulie.
Yeah.
And would essentially say, well, this guy shouldn't be alive.
Yeah. Basically.
And then, but that's kind of their attention, or Dorfler's attention is then taken by the fact that he notices there are 3 mugs on the kitchen table.
Yes, and only 2 people appear to live there. Elsa tries to fob him off by saying Paulie drinks out of a different cup every time he has a drink. It doesn't quite work.
Because I think you can see what was going to happen here.
Yeah.
The SS get rapey.
They do get quite rapey. It's a bit of a brutal scene. It's not a nice scene to watch. She plays it really well. She screams like a banshee. Because she says that she has a fiance, but he's at war.
Yeah.
And so, Dorfler tries to rape her. One of them's holding her down. It's horrible. And then Heinrich is watching this from above. He's in the attic looking down through the floorboards. And he can't take any more of this. He needs to reveal himself as being alive.
Yes, and the next we see is him running in through the kitchen, bearing a pitchfork.
Yes.
And he runs it through the guy who is holding Elsa down.
Straight through him.
And pins him to a column.
Yes, which triggers an awesome fight scene.
It really does.
A really good fight scene. It goes on for ages. There's all sorts of stuff going on. It's
Elsa
really
chucks hot coffee on Dorfler's junk.
Yeah. Which hurts him at the time, but doesn't seem to affect him for the rest of the movie.
One guy gets thrown through a window head first.
Yeah.
Stuck in the window frame. Yeah. And his throat is sliced.
It's horrible.
There's lots of gurgling there.
It's a great scene, to be fair.
Elsa just shotguns a couple of them.
Yeah, it's a really fun, violent scene. It's very violent, but it's good fun. Everybody gets killed. All of the SS guards get killed, except for Dorfler, who does manage to get away.
Pants around his ankles.
But he does manage to get back to the truck and get away. She then says to Heinrich, "Look, you need to get some new clothes.
Yeah.
So here's some of my fiance's clothes.
Get out of your uniform. It might help.
And we need to." He says we need to leave.
Yeah.
We cannot stay here now because they will come back and they will destroy the place. Paulie doesn't want to leave, and if he does want to leave, he wants to take the cow with him.
Yeah, because that's his friend.
That's his friend. But obviously, you can't. They haven't got a vehicle. They're going to walk, and you can't take a cow with you.
You can't saddle it up, and
not really. It's a shame, but you can't saddle up a cow. I've always said that.
And they're hard. If you're trying to move incognito, having a cow with you is quite difficult.
Yeah. 100%. It's probably the worst animal to be incognito with.
Which furious elephant would be worse.
True. Worst farm animal then.
Okay. Worst livestock.
Yes. So we see them walking through the woods and trying to find somewhere to camp for the night.
Yeah.
Paul is constantly saying he wants to go back.
Yeah.
He's like, we need to go back. I need to milk the cow. But they don't. They find somewhere to camp out. And we cut back to the town. Dorfler's being sewn up. He's got a big wound on his leg.
He basically catches everyone up with what they found at the farm and the fact that Heinrich's still alive,
which the lieutenant colonel was very surprised by. He says, "I'll go back in the morning and I will get that bastard."
Yeah.
That's his line, and he walks out of the room. I've written here. Heinrich tells Elsa he's only ever met his daughter once.
Yeah, but
that's why he needs to go back.
Both could still be true.
How?
Because he doesn't say he'd not seen. His wife still could have died.
I just assumed his wife had died
with his son. I'm sure in my subtitles it said.
I don't think it did in the dub.
Okay,
I might be incorrect.
But what I'm saying is that could both be true. That could have happened, and like you said, he said he'd only met her once before. I'm sure I had that as well.
Yeah. I just got the impression that she'd been killed whilst he was away.
Because she's not a young child.
No, she's not.
When
spoiler alert, but he gets reunited with her at the end.
I would put her at 6 or 7, something like that. Okay, fine.
I'm not sure, but I don't think you're right there.
I'm just telling. I'm not saying it's not me who's wrong. I'm telling you what the little word said on the movie.
Okay. So he says that's why we need to go back.
They're camping.
They're camping.
Paulie won't eat.
He won't eat.
He's too preoccupied.
He's very upset about the cow. And in fact, when they wake up the next morning, Paulie is gone.
He is.
Because for some reason, they've decided to camp separately. Because
they're on like a ledge, aren't they? And Paulie's
him.
Below them.
Yeah, he had like the campfire and where he slept. And then they went around the corner and up a ledge.
I don't know why.
I'm like, why would you?
Because there was no hint of any naughty or anything.
I don't think there was any naughty going on. But it just confused me about why they decided to sleep.
Yeah.
I can understand why Heinrich maybe did, but why? It really confused me. But he's gone. He's gone back to the farm, it turns out, because we follow him. And
he's milking the cow.
He's milking the cow. The cow needs milking every day.
Routine,
That's what he does. Unfortunately,
mid-milk,
the Dorfler turns up again.
Yeah, the Nazis are back.
And they torture him for information.
They do.
They basically put his head in a bucket of water till he speaks. But he is never going to speak.
Dorfler's like, I can make him talk. I can make him talk. And one of the other SS guy says, "You are not this. Whatever you do to this kid, he is not going to talk."
And he isn't. To be fair, he is not going to talk. So Dorfler shoots the cow.
Yeah, he sort of has a brainwave, doesn't he? Of like, well, I know what might work.
Yeah. So he shoots the cow and he says, "Take the cow, take Paulie back to the town, put him in the truck.
Yeah,
and let's burn this place to the ground." So they do. They set fire to the barn, to the farm. Just as they're leaving, Elsa and Heinrich turn back up to the farm.
Yeah, they see it from the edge of the woods.
Yeah, they see it from the edge. So they see the truck drive off with Paulie in the back and the dead cow. How they lifted that dead cow. That cow was huge.
It was a big one.
It was a big old cow. How they've lifted it into the back
pregnant.
of the truck.
Wasn't it pregnant?
It was pregnant.
Well? Yeah.
Maybe that's where you're getting confused.
No.
If anybody else has watched this film, can you please let us know? The gold isn't in the burnt down house. We found that out at this point. They've looked everywhere. The
squadron have not found any gold. And so then we cut to the sort of whole village being summoned to the town square.
But he asks the mayor first, where is the gold?
Yeah.
Because they don't know. The mayor at that point didn't know that's what they were looking for. He had an idea. But he doesn't know. He's saying, I have no idea. So he calls for a residents' meeting. He wants everybody in the village square at noon. And
I thought we were going to get... Unless I've missed something there. I thought we were summoning the village so the SS could basically interrogate about this gold.
But I think that was the original plan.
Yeah.
And then Dorfler turns back up with Paulie.
Yeah. And actually when they're all together, we've got Paulie on display in the square with a sign around him, or around his neck, which says unworthy to live.
Yes. Which is a bit mean.
Well,
I think the original plan was to bully the town into submission, but then this came to them on a platter, and it's like, we can make an example of this guy and torture him and whatever.
They're going to hang the guy from the bell tower of the church.
Yeah, not cool. Not a cool way to go. The priest isn't happy about this. He starts kicking off.
Well, he tries to stop them from entering the church and gets beaten down.
It's like, how can you say, and no life is unworthy, is his line. But they get past him. They go up to the...
Yeah, a couple of soldiers take Paulie up to the bell tower.
Yeah.
And...
This might be one of my favourite scenes ever.
They don't seem to take into account this guy is massive.
Big.
Really strong. And he just shoves one of them out the window.
Straight out the window.
Splat.
Yeah. He's tied up, but he just manages to push him out the window. And this guy falls from the top of the church to the floor and just splats on the floor.
Paulie...
You see every second of it.
Yeah. He then picks up this dropped gun.
Yeah.
Turns it on the other soldier.
Yeah.
Shoots at him. He then... The soldier then falls, slams his head into the bell. The bell bongs.
Everybody looks up.
Yeah.
And Paulie comes out the window with his gun and he just starts shooting at the town.
Yeah.
He didn't really care who he's shooting at.
No.
He's trying to shoot at the SS people, but he's just shooting. So everybody flees. It's all crazy. Heinrich and Elsa turn up. They manage to get inside the church to try and calm him down. As they're just about to get up to him, the lieutenant colonel manages to shoot him in the head.
Yeah.
And there's a really great scene of him getting shot in the head and he just flies forward down the stairs.
Yeah.
And lands right at Elsa's feet. She screams. It's all crazy. It's a really
Back
manic
of his
scene.
head's off. It's there's no gore spared, is there?
Not at all.
At any
and
point.
it's
in
really
this
high
movie.
tempo as well. Yeah. I thought that scene was wonderful.
It was really good.
Because you're not expecting Paulie to die either.
No.
You just don't expect that sort of thing to happen.
Not
this early.
Especially not so early,
yeah.
So Elsa runs out into the square with a shotgun shooting.
Yeah, she's shooting at everybody as well.
Sort of just falls to her knees in surrender, I guess.
Because she misses every single shot she fires. She misses. She just falls to her knees. And the lieutenant colonel stops them firing at her.
Yeah.
He's like, hold your fire. We need her. And at this point, I was like, he looks like he knows her. It was like he recognised her or something. But he didn't. It was just how his reaction to
And he sends a bunch of troops back into the church to chase Heinrich.
Yeah. Yeah, because Dorfler spots that Heinrich's in the church. He runs back up to the top of the church. He manages to throw a grenade down the stairs after him and takes out a few that way. Then there's like a shootout in the rafters of the church.
Yeah, and up the spiral staircase.
Yeah, it's great. Again, it's great. And then he jumps off. He manages to jump off the roof but like a lower roof, and he lands in a shed, goes through
Assassin's
a shed
Creed it, doesn't
He does, yeah, absolutely.
He axes a dude.
He does
right
axes a dude right in the face outside this shed. There's loads of awesome deaths at this point.
Did you pick up the guy, so once he's out of the church and they're in this like shed type thing?
Yeah.
The guy he killed by sort of just smashing his head into the architrave of the door?
Yeah. It was really great. He just lifts him up and just bangs his head on it. It killed him.
Just this guy's forward momentum, just
Yeah.
let it carry on. And yeah, it was inventive.
Something we don't mention on this show very often. Do you know the Wilhelm scream?
Yeah.
That's in this scene as well.
Sure.
And if you know what it is, you can pick it up every time.
Yeah.
But it's amazing how many different films it's in. I'd like to do some sort of like episode maybe on it, or some sort of bonus on it. I find it really interesting that there's sound effect that's been around since films have been a thing.
Oh, yeah, I'll be up for that.
But it's just in every film.
Yeah.
I just find it fascinating. So maybe we could do something on that. But yeah, it's in this scene.
We get a sort of one-on-one fight between Heinrich and Dorfler.
Yes, we do. It's really cool fight. It's like it turns into a fist fight at the
brooms,
end. Yeah.
bookcases, then it turns into a fist fight.
Yeah.
And basically, they both end up falling out of a balcony.
Yeah, they do.
And they hit the ground hard. They hit cobblestones hard.
They really do.
But Heinrich kind of manages to escape.
Yes, he does.
When a plane buzzes the town and just shoots at everything.
Where did that come from? Just literally shooting.
I don't know what affiliation this plane was.
I think it was American.
Yeah.
But yeah, Dorfler manages to get away from Heinrich, and Heinrich manages to get away from Dorfler.
And he takes refuge with a kindly lady.
He does.
I think is like, I thought it was the priest's wife, which I was kind of correct, but not, as it turned out in the end.
It's certainly a lady the priest lives with.
Yes. Slight problem though.
Yeah.
Heinrich's got a massive gaping leg wound.
Well, he has a knife in his leg.
Yeah.
There's literally a knife still in there that she has to pull out. And then he has this massive leg. Massive leg.
He's got a massive leg.
To be fair, it would swell up.
Yeah.
But yeah, she manages to take this knife out, bandages him all up, she sorts him out. The priest comes in, because he lives there with this lady.
She says she's lost both her sons during the war.
Yes, she does. And the priest reveals that the SS have Elsa and they've taken her to the inn.
He then says, well, Heinrich says, why are they here? What's
going on? Why this little village?
Town? And the priest says, there's Jewish gold here.
Yeah.
A lot
of gold in this town. Cut to the mayor. We haven't seen the mayor for a while. We cut back to him. He's
meeting his
cohort.
Secret society.
Yeah. There's three of these blokes that know about this gold.
Plus Sonia.
Who's
his bit on the side.
But at the minute, there's just the three men there.
Yeah.
They know about the gold. They've moved the gold from the house and they've hidden the gold.
They know where it is.
And he wants to give up the gold.
Yeah.
He's like, I think we should give it to them. They will leave if we do. We can get back to normal life. We didn't have the gold before the war. We won't have the gold after the war. Everybody's happy.
Get the village back.
The two guys are not up for that, but the mayor's in charge. He goes to leave. And as he goes to leave, he gets hit in the face really hard with a spade.
What the sound effect of this spade?
Wonderful. I thought that.
There was a thwack, a thud, and a squelch all at the same time.
He goes flying back down the stairs. He's unconscious, and Sonia's at the top of the stairs. Sonia is the lady who we met at the beginning.
Who was saying, let's run away.
Let's run away together.
Which we now can work out is because they knew where the gold was.
Yep.
And she hands the spade to... Well, she holds out the spade and says to the other two...
Yep.
One of you finish the job.
Yes.
After a bit of hesitation, one of them does.
Does finish the job and kills the mayor. The body count in this film is going up. The lieutenant colonel has sat down for dinner with Elsa. He has cooked her a steak.
Yeah.
She doesn't want to eat the steak.
Do you know where that's
the steak is made from the cow that she used to own. She refuses to eat her own cow.
He then tells her a story.
Yes.
About how he once loved a Jew.
Yes, he once fell in love with a girl who was a Jew.
Yeah. Unfortunately, their relationship ended.
Yes.
When he shot her.
Because she was a Jew. He shot her to death because she was a Jew.
But he says Elsa reminds him very much of...
I think that's why I thought that he looked like he recognised her.
Because he's a psychopath.
Because he's a psychopath.
And he saw girl...
She looks like the girl I used to love, who I shot. Let's bring her in and give her a steak. What we haven't mentioned at this point is this guy's also got a half face mask.
Yeah. It's like Phantom of the Opera type thing.
Yeah. Yeah, literally. I presume he's got some sort of war injury. Well, I presumed he'd got some sort of war injury under there. And at this point, he takes his mask off and reveals his grisly face.
This makeup was brilliant.
Wonderful. Really good.
Like, awful, but really well detailed. It was as good as, like, I don't know, I know this is going back a few years now, but, like, Two-Face in The Dark Knight, it was...
Probably better.
Because, yeah. And you could see his teeth through his cheek.
You could, yeah.
You know.
There's a really nice example of that later on.
Yeah.
But yeah, at this point, he reveals that in his eye socket, where he does have an eye, he also keeps the engagement ring that he gave this girl.
Because it's all like...
It's all mangled.
Creamy and milky.
It's horrible is what it is. It's fucking mangled.
Infected. And...
but he pulls this like ring out of his eye and he puts it on Elsa's finger.
Yeah.
And as if they're now a couple. And he calls her Rebecca, which I assume was the name of the girl that he shot. The priest then tells Heinrich the full story of the gold and
the Lowenstein family.
Yes, and we get flashbacks of this story as well, of the Jews being rounded up.
So essentially,
the house being attacked.
There was this Jewish family who lived in the village.
Yeah.
Their son left.
Yes.
Married into a very rich family.
Yeah.
And returned in the autumn of 1938.
Yeah.
He wanted to take his package, say, come on, we're leaving.
Yeah.
We're okay, we've got money, we need to go though, let's get out of here. We can go somewhere else. Because this company had been sold. But the parents didn't want to leave.
No.
They didn't want to leave the village. It was their home.
But the angry mob around their house did want them to leave.
Yeah.
And they were being forced out of this town because they're Jewish. What the angry mob failed to notice is that when they are leaving, they drop a bag full of gold.
Yes.
The only person that did notice it is Sonia.
Yeah.
And therefore it is her
Well,
gold.
no, a couple more did.
Yeah,
the
but
mayor
she was
noticed. The preacher noticed.
Yeah, and Sonia was the one who managed to pick it up. And these other two guys did as well, these goons.
So the son, Lowenstein's son, and his wife were arrested, taken away by the Nazis, and the town turned on the elder Lowensteins.
They did indeed,
and basically killed them to death.
And burnt their house to the ground.
Yeah.
And Sonia managed to get away with the gold. So we then follow Sonia for a little while, and she goes
with her two accomplices.
Yeah, I've written Sonia and her goons.
Yeah,
so I don't think they're ever given names.
I don't think so.
Yeah, they're non-characters really. They're just Sonia's bodyguards. So she goes and they go to dig it up. It turns out it's buried in a grave in the graveyard, church's graveyard. So they dig up this grave, open the coffin, and there it is empty. There is nothing in there.
There's no gold.
There is no gold, and instead there is a Bible.
Oh, also one of the guy's legs falls off because he's only got one leg, and he stumbles in the grave and it just falls off. There are little bits of comedy all the way through this uber violent film.
Yeah. Does have some nice little bits of comedy in. Inside, instead of the gold, there is a Bible inside, and when they open the Bible, two lines are underlined. Thou shalt not steal, and thou shalt not kill.
Which is this priest's got some balls, leaving a calling card.
He really has. I mean, they would never have known where it had gone if he hadn't have done this. The priest reveals to Heinrich that the gold is in the church. And
it's in the altar.
It's in the altar. And Heinrich wants to go and see it. So he does. They go and priest goes and shows him where it is. And we do. We see the gold for the first time.
There's a lot of gold.
Yeah.
Gold, solid gold bars.
Yeah, big gold bars. Not like nice mass-produced ones, like rough gold, like it's been melted into bars. The lieutenant colonel, meanwhile, is asleep. Elsa is next to him in the bed. However, she is not asleep.
Both fully clothed.
Yes, completely. On top of the bed.
Yeah.
Lying on their backs, like... I don't know what.
How a psychopath would sleep.
Yes. Whilst he is asleep, Elsa notices that he has a big ring on his finger.
She is eyeing up his ring.
She is eyeing up his ring. She knows what this ring is.
Yeah.
Because, as we all know, or as most people know, the SS guards used to wear a ring with a cyanide pill hidden inside in case they were to kill themselves during the war effort.
So Elsa
comes up with a plan.
So it's a very creaky bed, first of all.
Yes.
So she has to finger his ring very gently in order to open it just enough that she can prise out the cyanide.
Yes, absolutely.
So she manages to open the ring and get a little finger in there. But
stop it.
What?
You know what you're doing.
No, I don't.
You need to stop.
But her finger's too big. The ring won't accept her finger.
Yes.
So she has to take a hairpin and put that in his ring.
Yes.
So she,
to try and prise the pill out.
Yeah, so she manages to do that, but the pill pops out of his little ring and flies over the room.
Every time Nick says ring, he looks me right in the eyes, and it's really disturbing. Yeah, it does. It pops out and lands on the floor in the middle of the room.
The lieutenant colonel is left lying on the bed, still asleep, with his ring open.
Yeah.
And Elsa's now got to go and find this pill.
So she goes crawling around the floor to try and find this pill, which she does find.
Creaky bed, creaky floorboards.
Yeah.
There's a lot of creaking going on.
She picks it up, but unfortunately, as she picks it up, he awakens.
Yeah.
And he rises like the dead.
Yes.
He literally sits up.
He does the Undertaker
He does.
thing,
He literally sits bolt upright in bed.
He says, "What are you doing down there?
What are you doing on the floor?" And she makes up some story about why she's down there.
She says, "My ring fell off."
She does. My ring was too loose.
Says the ring you gave me. It's a little bit big.
His ring was too tight, and her ring was too loose.
And he says, "That's fine. We can get it. We can get it
changed. No problem."
Have you found it? And she says, "Yeah."
Yes, it's here, and she's
got to take one for the team now.
Does.
This is the plan.
She puts the cyanide pill in her mouth, and she turns to the lieutenant colonel and kisses him really hard.
Says, "I've been thinking about what you said. I'm all in. I'm yours."
And as she kisses him, there's one of the greatest camera shots in cinema history.
It's so good.
You can see through the hole in the side of his face the pill move into his mouth from hers.
Yeah,
and it is
to the back of his throat.
Fantastic.
Side on, we are.
Yeah, side on. It is a brilliant shot. You see the pill move into his mouth.
It is both to throw back to our Boxcar Awards. It is both weirdest naughty, and good death scene.
It really is, because as the pill lands in his mouth, she backs away and punches him as hard as possible in the face, which causes him to recoil and swallow the pill. And then he instantly realizes what she's done.
Yeah.
But he has no time to realize because he convulses quite heavily and dies on the floor.
Yeah. It was a great scene.
It was a fantastic scene. I thought it was a wonderful scene. From the minute they were lying in that bed together in such an awkward way to the minute he dies on the floor was great. And the scene ends with her screaming at him, "I love my brother, you bastard."
Yeah.
We then cut to Sonia and, the priest is walking through the town because he's finished with Heinrich.
Well, Heinrich said as well, I think the only bit we didn't mention in his previous scene, he basically says to the preacher, I think I've got a plan.
Yes.
I need your help.
So
Sonia and her goons are out on the rampage. They're looking for the preacher.
And he is walking brazenly through the town.
Yeah.
And Sonia uses a special move, which is the spade to the back of the head, or the front of the head.
Yes.
She spades him as well. Knock him down, knock him out, take him.
We cut back to the SSHQ back downstairs in the inn, and we hear Dorfler and troops listening to the radio, which says the Yanks are close. They are closing in on Berlin.
It says the Yanks have broken free, and they will be here in hours.
Yeah.
So they're coming through this town to get to wherever they're going.
Their listening is interrupted by the arrival of a gold bar.
Straight through the window.
Yes.
Somebody throws it through the window.
Who throws a gold bar?
Heinrich throws the gold bar. And he's shouting at them from the street. And he says, "Look, I've got the gold. I want to trade Elsa for the gold.
Yeah.
Bring me Elsa. You can have the gold."
His leg's still pissing blood, by the way.
He was told to relax, and he didn't relax. So his leg is bleeding out. So Dorfler goes to wake up the lieutenant colonel. Obviously can't wake him up because he's dead as anything.
There's that slight problem.
So he finds the lieutenant colonel and realizes that Elsa is also not in the room.
Yes, the window is open, the curtains are billowing. She has made her escape.
Dorfler heads back downstairs and reveals to his men that the coward of the lieutenant colonel has taken his cyanide pill.
Yeah.
Why he would do that, I have no idea, but that's the conclusion they've come to.
He's also now got the new problem of if he wants this gold, he's got no girl to send out to Heinrich.
No.
Except the innkeeper's wife.
Yes, who is a lady.
Yes.
He's now in charge, so he makes this decision to cover the innkeeper's wife's head with a sheet and send her out into the street.
Correct.
Pretending that she's Elsa. Meanwhile... Oh, no, she goes out. She does go out into the street before the scene cuts, sorry. And she has a grenade.
Yes.
And she blows them up, basically. Meanwhile, Elsa has managed to get to the priest's house.
Heinrich was caught in the blast of the grenade.
Yes, and he also has got a very bleedy leg. Yeah, the Dorfler was the one who... That was his plan, and it worked. Elsa gets to the priest's house. She has...
Where Heinrich left, not but, I don't know, 15 minutes
earlier. His, I've written wife, but it wasn't his wife, it was his lady friend. She gives him a gun from this
huge armory that
she seems to have. And they go hunting.
They both arm themselves up.
Yeah, they do. They're both tall up.
But they're going to go and hunt Nazis.
Yeah, because she used to be a hunter. She's well into shooting shit. So they go hunting together. Meanwhile, Sonia and the goon are interrogating the police to try and find... the priest, not the police. And Dorfler now has Heinrich in the inn. So everybody's kind of in position as we're coming up to the final act. And Dorfler's given him a blood transfusion of his own blood. To keep him alive?
I guess so.
Yeah.
He's not in a good way. I mean, they're both tattooed. They've both got the same blood type. The medics overseeing
how somebody knows that they've got the same blood type, I don't know.
They had a tattoo on their arms.
Oh, of their blood type?
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't spot that. That's fair. Okay. Yeah, so he's keeping him alive by giving him his own blood.
Dorfler says, I needed to do this. I needed to keep you alive. Because I still don't know where the gold is.
Yes.
I've got 1 bar.
But he also knows now about Heinrich's daughter.
Yeah.
So he's like, I'm going to go to this town and I'm going to kill your daughter.
Yeah, unless you tell me where the gold is.
Tell me where the gold is. Which I assume was all part of this big master plan that Heinrich had come up with. He knew what he was doing.
Meanwhile, Sonia and goons are heading to the church.
Yeah, the priest is taking them there.
Yeah.
To the gold. Dorfler and his men are also now heading to the church.
Yes.
Because Heinrich has told them that's where it is. So everybody's heading towards the church.
But Sonia and those guys are there first.
Yeah, so they get there first. The priest shows them where the gold is, takes them to the altar, hangs back slightly as the goons go and look at the gold. And when they move one of the gold bars, there are 3 grenades underneath it.
Sure.
Which instantly explode and blow them up.
It's a big explosion.
It is a big old explosion.
Golden shower everywhere.
Good one-word review. Sonia gets taken out by a flying leg.
Yes, the leg. The false leg in slow-mo.
Yeah, it just hits her in the face.
Smacks
and
her in the head.
Knocks her flying.
There's chaos.
So you two men are dead. Sonia's, we think, dead, but maybe just knocked out.
Priest is not in a good way.
Priest is not in a good way, but he's...
And the Nazis are just arriving outside the door.
Yeah, they hear this explosion, but they're like, oh, what was that? That was weird. The priest is then praying in front of the exploded altar.
Dorfler just shoots him.
And there's, he does. There's gold everywhere. Yeah. And Dorfler just shoots the priest in the head straight away. Elsa then turns up with this lady, priest's girlfriend lady, and she has a rocket launcher.
But she finds it. Yeah, she finds it in the back of a Nazi truck. Yeah.
Yes. So she aims it at the door of the church because she knows all the Nazis are in the Nazis. She knows all the Nazis are in the church. But just before she fires it, she sees Heinrich in there too. So she doesn't fire at the door of the church.
But obviously confirmation he's alive.
He's alive.
So she points the bazooka at the bell tower instead.
She shoots the steeple off this church, which brings it down.
That's a great shot as well.
Wonderful. Again, really good. It brings it down and traps them all inside.
Yeah.
Because obviously that blocks... One guy gets squashed by a bell.
He does.
And it blocks off the door, so they can't get out. They're trapped inside now. Elsa and the priest's wife, girlfriend, Pelusi, go to the back door of the church, and she finds the priest's body straight away. Yeah. And she starts shooting. She goes in there just shooting shit.
So another church-based gunfight.
Yep. 2 ladies versus Nazi soldiers. There's Elsa runs in. She's shooting as well.
The widow takes a couple of them out. Elsa manages to sort of clip Dorfler, I would say.
Yeah.
With a bullet.
Dorfler grabs... I think her name was Ingrid or something like that.
Yeah.
But Dorfler grabs her and he's like strangling her up against the wall.
Yeah.
And she manages to stab him
with a hunter's knife.
And is that the point where she gets shot in the head? I think
they regroup the 2 of them together.
Yeah.
Like, we think we might be, we might be nearly there. There's not many of them left. And then suddenly the widow's shot.
Yes, in the head. Before she can finish Dorfler off, she gets shot in the head.
And then Elsa's wounded as well.
She also takes a bullet.
Expect.
She starts shooting back, and she manages to kill what we think is the last guard.
Yeah.
She then goes to Heinrich, who is unconscious on the floor. Yes. But it was revealed at this point that Dorfler has managed to survive this. He tries to choke Elsa out, and there's a really nice shot from above of him or Dorfler on top of Elsa and Heinrich crawling slowly towards him. It's a really great shot. And Heinrich sneaks up behind him and brains him with a piece of gold. Yes. Knocks him unconscious with this piece of gold.
And Dorfler sort of falls to his back.
Yeah, he lands on his back with his face open.
Yeah.
And Heinrich just rams this gold bar down his throat.
Yeah.
Through his mouth, down his throat.
And it's just the makeup's amazing, and blood splatters everywhere, and you then just see Dorfler and the remains of his mouth exploded with this gold bar
it's incredible
into his head.
It's a great shot again. It's revealed to us at this point, but to nobody else, that one of the younger guards is still alive. He's hiding in the body
It's
of
the medic.
It's the medic. Yeah, it was the medic. He's hiding in the body of the bell.
Yeah, he's hiding in the bell.
Yeah. Elsa and Heinrich leave out of the back door. They don't take any gold. They just leave.
They're just trying to get out of town.
They just want to get out of there.
And the medic waits till they've gone.
Yeah, he waits till they've gone. As far as he's concerned, everybody's dead.
We now sort of follow him, and his eyes widen.
Yeah, he's like,
he realises he's the only one left.
Yeah, everybody else is dead.
A church full of gold.
Why would you not want all this gold? So he goes to pick up the gold, and as he goes to pick up the gold, Sonia wakes up from a leg-based knockout and shoots him in the head.
Yeah,
she takes him out, and now she's the only one still alive. So
because Heinrich and Elsa hear the gunshot.
Yeah, they do.
Turn around, and then they're just like, no, keep walking.
Go. So Elsa and Heinrich walk away. It's the last time we see them. Oh, it's not the last time we see them, but it's the last time before that prologue, I guess. Epilogue. Thank you. Sonia drives off in victory in this car. This is one of the Nazi cars. And on the radio, there's a radio announcement going on that Hitler has been found dead.
Yeah.
So the war is definitely over. Hitler is dead.
And she's driving to her future in this.
Yeah, she's got all the gold in this little Jeep. She's on her own.
Careering across the countryside.
It's a great scene. And then suddenly the car just explodes out of nowhere.
She flies through the air.
And it turns out the Americans have finally arrived.
She got shot by a tank.
She did get shot by an American tank. They're like, maybe we shouldn't have done that. We didn't even look who was in it. We just shot at a Nazi
Because it's like
vehicle.
an army Jeep.
Yeah, it's a Nazi vehicle. They then go to explore and they find all the gold.
Yeah.
And they start collecting it as we see Sonia's burnt out corpse just dying on the floor. Like, she looks devastated that she's not going to get this gold in the end.
And the Americans are like, oh, maybe we don't need to tell anyone about this find.
Yeah, maybe we'll just take this. The war's over. We'll just take this gold. So some rich American soldiers ended up getting rich out of this. And then in the epilogue of the movie, I guess it is, the final scene of the movie, Heinrich goes home to his hometown with Elsa and gets reunited with his young daughter.
Yeah.
The end.
I mean, that's underselling the last scene, because I found the last scene surprisingly emotional.
I did as well.
Like,
there's not many ways for me to describe it, but it is.
I was quite touched.
Yeah.
And I was like...
I was invested in that character by that point.
Yeah, I was as well, but I was really surprised that it took me in with that last scene, because I was like, this movie is part comedy, extremely violent, and then right at the end, I was like, oh...
Touched.
Yeah.
Yeah. I agree. I was too.
I wasn't expecting the emotional cherry on top, I guess, at the end.
No. So overall, what are your thoughts?
This is fun. It's such a fun time.
Fucking brilliant, I thought. It was so much fun.
It's bonkers.
It's absolutely not what I was expecting from it. I knew it was going to be like a silly war movie, but it is so much more than that.
You read the synopsis last week, and it sounded like a serious, dramatic...
It really does. And it is not that.
You know.
At all.
Someone trying to get back home to their family. And this is like... I mean, there's an obvious comparison, I suppose, with Inglourious Basterds.
Yeah, there's definitely a Tarantino inspiration here.
This is a Western,
yes.
But it's just in the Second World War.
Yes.
It's even got a kind of a Western-y soundtrack.
Yeah. It could have been set in any
It's Grindhouse as well, isn't it? It's that sort of ultra-violent, ultra-gory.
Yeah, absolutely.
But it's got comedy to it, and it's good comedy.
Yeah.
It's like... The jokes and the sort of slapstick, such as it is, doesn't fall flat. It's got comic time in. The performances are good, and I mean,
I had a great time.
Yeah,
I had an absolutely great time with this.
That last scene I was more emotional at the end of this stupid violent war movie than I was at the week before this movie that was that bit of emotional heft, which was missing from last week's movie, was somehow at the end of this one
in spades as well. It was. I don't have a bad word to say about this film. I thought from the
I know
start
there's
to
some
finish,
people who wouldn't like it.
Yes,
but fuck me, this is fun.
If you're in any way like Tarantino movies, I guess like Grindhouse stuff, that's what this movie is. Yeah. It's heavily inspired by Tarantino, heavily inspired. But it's great. It's a lot of fun. It's like Kill Bill during Second World War. I don't have a bad word to say about it.
No, I thought it was great.
What's the best thing about it?
I mean, I think I think there's two bits for me. So is it generally, if I'm talking more generally, it's how well choreographed and put together the fight scenes are.
Yeah.
Because there is a couple of big fight scenes. The first one in the farmhouse, and then when they're fighting through down the bell tower and out into the village square is fantastic.
Yeah.
And then the final big scene in the church. They are all really well put together. They're just as good as anything you'll see on a movie.
Absolutely.
With 100 times this budget.
Absolutely. For me, it's the Lieutenant Colonel's death.
That was the other option. For being more specific, that scene is brilliant.
It's almost perfect. It's just so well shot, and the fact that you can see this pill moving around in his mouth.
And it's great comeuppance for that character.
Yeah, it's a really good way for that character to go out. Because, again, you're not expecting him to die at this point in the movie. It's still quite early in the movie for the main bad guy to go. And because he's not in the final scene.
And and I think then if we're talking performances, the standout performance for me is, I'm sorry, I haven't got a note of the name. You will have to enlighten me. But the actress who plays Elsa, I think, is the standout in this.
Yeah, she's great.
She's awesome.
She is great.
So there's a lot to choose from.
Marie Hacke.
There's a lot to choose from. I think I would go for the fight choreography.
Okay. I'm going for the death of the Lieutenant Colonel, but again, it's all brilliant. Would you change anything about it?
I could have had another 20 minutes.
Agreed. Again, I couldn't agree more. It's on for an hour and 40, so make it 2 hours.
Yeah.
Give me an epic.
I mean, are the Nazis evil enough? I don't mean that generally. Don't clip that. Like, in this movie.
They're pretty evil. They shoot poorly quite without...
Yeah, true.
Dorfler definitely was evil.
Yeah.
I think with the Lieutenant Colonel and some of the other guys, they went for more the comedy Nazi vibe, like you get in Jojo Rabbit and that sort of movie. But Dorfler was a horrible bastard.
It's almost a similar complaint to last week's movie, The Waterman, in that, again, there's probably not enough people in this. In the background, you know, where are all those people that are there in the village square when they're trying to hang Paulie?
Where are they for the rest of the time? Yeah, that's fair.
That was a.
If you go for minor quibble, that was the day they had the extras on set.
But that's the difference between a big budget movie and this. But that does not put me off this movie.
No way. Should we talk stream table?
Yeah.
Do you want me to read through them all? Should I just do the top 10?
I think you can safely say this is in the top 10, can't you?
Let's do top 10. 10 is Sweet Girl. 9 is Still Time. 8 is Girlfriend's Day. 7 is Cadaver. 6 is Catty Catty. 5 is Don't Listen. 4 is Against the Ice. 3 is The Humans. Number 2 is Nick's wildcard from last week, The Waterman. And number 1 is my wildcard, Warriors of Future. Where does this one go, Nick?
My initial reaction is I'm struggling to find a reason not to put this right at the top.
I'd be disappointed if it wasn't.
Yeah.
I genuinely, I think this is the top film of this season by a distance.
Is it by a distance?
I think so. I think it's a better film than Warriors of Future for
I think
for many reasons.
Yeah.
And yeah, I would be disappointed if it didn't go top of the stream table.
It's the most fun, and it's got good performances as well. Whereas Warriors of the Future is good fun, really good fun.
Yeah, great film. It's not taking anything away from Warriors of the Future or The Waterman. They're both really good films. And The Humans. Arguably, this is one of the most fun movies we've ever done.
But in terms of like balls to the wall,
stupid fun.
Yeah.
I think it has to go at number 1. And I'm intrigued to know how that makes you feel because you didn't pick it as your wild card.
Them's the breaks.
Do you agree?
Yeah, I think so.
I think it's the best film we've seen this season.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, seriously, go and watch this movie.
Yeah, if you've not seen this movie already.
Absolute ride.
We do this podcast to find hidden gems on Netflix.
2 weeks in a row, got a hidden gem.
This movie's only been out for 4 months, but it's a hidden gem that I didn't know it'd come out. We do a podcast on Netflix. It's 4 months old. I did not know this movie existed. So it has come out and gone under the radar. Maybe in Germany it's doing big numbers, who knows. Okay. But it's come out and gone under the radar over here, definitely.
Go and watch Blood and Gold.
Go and watch Blood and Gold. The dub's great as well. The dub's fine. Good. So if you not, I don't do subtitled movies. If you're one of those people, watch it with the dub on. It's fine. Yeah. It is fine. You will have seen much worse. I've seen much worse dubs. We've seen Warriors of Future. Number 1, new table topper.
There you go.
16th entry into the stream table. Can this film be beaten?
Yeah.
Let's find out. We've got 9 weeks left.
It can potentially.
I hope so.
Will it be? That's another question altogether.
We've had a strong run this season, haven't we?
I think this is a high quality season all in.
Where did
So
the bad
far.
films start in the stream table?
We Are the Young Men.
Here Are the Young Men.
Yeah.
We've only done 3 bad films this season out of 16.
Because there's something to like in Freaks and Mercy.
Yeah, Freaks isn't that bad. I thought that was all right.
It's not a bad film.
Mercy's fine. You could even argue that it's maybe even only Buddy Games and Spaced Out. Here Are the Young Men is bad. It's bad compared to the rest of them, but
Yeah.
I don't know whether it's a bad movie is another question altogether. We've had Robin has been very kind to us this season, even though me and you are now topping the table. Well, we were topping the table. We're now 2 and 3. Still puts me in charge of the wild cards. We need some wild cards being played, people. If you've got a bottom of the stream wild card, get it played. You've only got 9 weeks left.
I
3
think.
of you.
Is there 3 out there?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
How many of? I think there might be 4. No.
No, 3. It's 3 down. 3 to go.
So we need some wild cards played. If you're listening, this is a call to action for our Patreons. Right, next week's film. We're going to get Robin to pick it.
Yes, please.
What do you want to watch, Nick? Something bad.
Sorry,
We haven't done a bad film for ages.
Okay, fine. Yeah.
Should we pick a bad film?
It's not up to us.
It's not up to us. It's up to our little randomizer, Robin. And I'm going to press his button. Are you ready?
Yes, please.
Has picked a movie called Hellhole.
Okay. I'm guessing it's a horror movie.
Correct. It is a Polish horror mystery movie.
Okay.
It is a Netflix original. It's from last year, 2022. Do you want a synopsis?
Yes, please.
In a monastery cut off from the world, the monks run a clinic for the possessed. One day, a young policeman, Marek, comes to the convent. Posing as a clergyman, he penetrates monastic life and tries to explain the recent mysterious disappearance of several tormented inmates. It turns out, however, that there is no way out of the monastery.
Oh, intriguing. I feel that the use of the word penetrate was really unnecessary there.
It was, wasn't it?
I think infiltrate would have been
Yeah,
quite a bit softer.
You don't penetrate a monastery,
No,
do you?
I don't think so. It's like a Channel 5 documentary.
Well, it's like a convent's nuns, isn't
Yeah.
it? So they've used the word convent and monastery. It can't be both. Anyway,
Fine.
it's a Polish horror mystery movie.
I'm in.
Me too. Why not?
I think we've only done a couple of Polish films before.
Go on.
Plagues of Breslau
That seems like ages ago.
and All My Friends Think I'm Dead or Think You're Dead. That movie.
All My Friends Are Dead.
Yeah.
Nobody thinks anything. That was definitely a long time ago. That was
Yeah.
like season 3, I think.
They were both Polish. Both enjoyable from what I
Both,
remember.
yeah, both decent films.
So,
So yeah, go out and watch.
overdue a return visit to Poland.
Go out and watch Hellhole. And in the meantime, check us out on Instagram and Letterboxd at BOTS_podcast is our username on those. If you want to drop us an email, our email address is bottomofthestream@gmail.com and our website is bottomofthestream.com. On our website, you will find every episode we've ever recorded, loads of other cool stuff, and you can even find some merch if you want to buy a Bottom of the Stream
Gold bar.
gold bar.
Yeah.
Bottom of the Stream branded gold.
Yeah.
Can I have some of that?
Yeah, sure.
Cool. After you've done that, head over to Patreon, patreon.com/bottomofthestream. On there, for £5 a month, you will get early access to the movie show episodes. You will get a poster. You will get a special entrance into our Discord where only you and the other Patreons and us exist. And loads of other cool stuff that we give for the Patreons throughout the year. We love the Patreons. I forgot about the wild card, the most important thing.
Yeah.
You get a wild card if you come in, so you can pick the movie we watch one week, and if you pick the best one of the season, you win a prize.
You sure will.
After you've done all of that, head over to our Discord. The Discord is a fun group of fun-loving individual people who will chat to you about anything, talk to you about all sorts, have a lot of fun. We play games, we do watch-alongs. We've got a watch-along soon. I don't know if that's this Sunday. What's the date on Sunday? Soon. We've got a
I
watch-along.
think it's the Sunday after. I don't know. I'm
don't
not
know.
sure. I haven't got a calendar.
Normally. We do watch-alongs in there. The first Sunday of every month we do a watch-along. Loads of other cool stuff goes on in the Discord. The Discord link will be in the bottom of the show notes.
If you can spare a few minutes, please consider leaving us a rating and a review. Anywhere you can review and rate podcasts. I know we always say it, but it does really help. It helps get more eyes on our podcast. It helps get more ears on our podcast, and it helps us make more friends and spread the word about these amazing movies and also terrible movies. And
It does
isn't
indeed.
that the most important thing?
Of course it is. We do this to chat with friends and make more friends.
You can find us anywhere you can find your podcast. That's places like Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Podbean, Podchaser, all the others. There's hundreds. We're on them. Come find us.
Come and find us.
Thank you.
And then when you found us, subscribe to us. And then go and watch Hellhole. And we'll be back on Monday for The Wave and next Thursday to talk to you about that movie.
Cheers!
Bye!